What's up, y'all? It's Tori here at Witness to History, Ferguson 10. Like I told you, this podcast is like a podcast you never seen before. We're going to talk in depth about Ferguson, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. Today, I'm joined with esteemed guest, somebody who is amazing in the community, activist, as you can see, author, poet. You heard the voice, you see her at the protest. To me and to a lot of people, a mother in the movement. So if you ever seen this black woman at a Ferguson protest with a red, black, and green flag on, or some nice African garb like she has on today, you call her what I call her. I'm here with Mama Julia Davis. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me here. I'm truly humbled.
Mm.
I am.
Mm.
And I'm very grateful. And I'm thankful for all of us who went outside. Even the names unknown, I'm thankful for all of us because to me, I'm an unknown name too. I know the people around me, but I don't know everybody. But everybody out there was there because that's what their heart said to do. Spirit said to rise up. And we rose up as people. So being here 10 years later, didn't expect it. Just wanted to be at home, writing or gardening or something, cooking.
I think we all didn't expect that. And I think looking back 10 years later, I never would have thought that. Man, I thought we would have been free by now. If you look at anything, any of these pictures or any of that, I felt like the revolution was right here at our doorstep, and by now we would have been free dancing in Africa if I had it my way. So I think looking back 10 years later, like you said, with everybody, so I feel the same way. It's not like a bloody Sunday moment where it was X amount of people on the bridge. Ferguson was tens of thousands of people, most of the people local. To be, it wasn't just Ferguson. It was St. Anne, it was Jennings, Normandy, Riverview. People from the East Side, Centerville. We was outside as a family. So I feel the same way. If you came out for 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, 1 hour. If you just drove up the block and did a couple donuts in front of the police and flicked them off, I appreciated you, and I still appreciate you 10 years later.
Yes.
Yes, man. So I guess I'm gonna start from the jump. Where were you when you first heard about the killing of Mike Brown?
I was at home on my breezeway. Had just come out of my yard and I can't really say I was shocked. I was angry though. I was really angry because I knew it wasn't necessary. I don't think any killing is necessary unless it's a gun to your head and a gun to the other head and somebody decide to be brave and pull the trigger. It's different. But that touched my soul because I'm a mother of sons. Now I have grandsons, have brothers, uncles, cousins, friends.
So,
But the audacity of those people to do what they did and complain because people were in the streets saying this some bullshit. The audacity.
I think you kind of said it. I think it's the same for me. I think I wasn't shocked. More so, I was really caught off guard at the response. It's St. Louis. My uncle was killed by the police on Highway 70 in the 1980s.
Hmm.
came to my grandmama house and said, if you want to plan more than one funeral, come outside and go to the police station or march. So I think a lot of black people here in St. Louis personally have stories, and I think that kind of led to a lot of people coming outside and doing something about it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
My brother was 25 in 1981 when they killed him in St. Louis County, and nothing was ever done. So after everything registered, yeah, it made me remember my brother's spirit was really present because when I would go outside, I was surely me, a grown woman,
Hmm.
but I could feel my brother's spirit rising in me because this thing is not just an injustice. It's what you young folks saying, playing in our faces.
Hmm.
And that's offensive to me. It's still offensive 10 years later.
Hmm.
I love the idea that all the people get together, but I would like it if we could get together and sit down and talk about how to change these laws that allow these crackers to do what they did to that young man, and not just him, but all the others who came after him. It seemed like a domino effect had happened. And then you think about all of those who came before them who died like that. And then you think about all of those who came before them who were beaten to death because they could.
Hmm.
Those who were hung from trees because they could. And now it's a new lynching.
Hmm.
And it can't be okay. I like that we come together. People go down in Canfield and everybody, but I don't feel like rejoicing because I'm still angry and
Hmm.
I'm still hurt. And it still troubles my sleep. And I still worry every time one of y'all walk out the door. I worry when I call your phone and I can't get you and I got to keep calling you back. I'm going to do it till you say something to me. I shouldn't have to do that. I don't know white mamas that do that. I don't know any mamas outside of black mamas that do that.
Hmm.
I don't know any man outside of black men who say, "Come on, I'm cool. I'm gonna be all right. Don't you doing too much?" Because we be stressing over y'all safety. Your mamas, your wives, your women, your girlfriends, your friends, because we fretful like that. Because we know, like y'all know, what these people do outside.
Hmm. Do you think as a mother, it kind of changes the way that you kind of organize or was involved in Ferguson?
I don't know. I was just outside. All I knew was that
Okay.
we needed some justice to
Mm.
happen. And I was sick of them people talking about, y'all stop, tell them kids to go home.
Mm.
No, y'all come outside. Tell them to go home for what?
Mm. I was never going outside. I felt like wasn't no inside going. I was always gonna be the outside kid. So
No,
I don't get it.
yeah. I mean, no, I think after learning more,
Mm.
after having a better understanding,
Mm.
then organizing differently, yeah. Um,
What did you learn? What you say learning more? What did you
what did I
learn
learn from
more?
Ferguson?
Yeah, what did you learn more from Ferguson? Yeah.
Oh gosh, I learned a lot in Ferguson.
Mm.
Like I learned a lot from people who knew things that I didn't know. That's what I was looking for. That's what I'm always looking for. Somebody who knows some more than me
Mm.
so I can learn some things. And if I can give them something, teach them something along the way, then perfect. But from Ferguson, one, I learned that we really can't expect justice.
Mm.
Like I knew that, but Ferguson and then riding into Stockley taught me that yeah, they do what they want to do. Only because people keep saying the laws can't be changed. It take too much. It's gonna take too long. Well, it Nothing is too long if it's going to stop a thing.
Mm,
So, will it really stop them? Stop them? They'll find new ways, but we'll get some justifications from the point of change forward. That's the change for me.
mm,
I learned that our black children feel these injustices really deep and they want something done about these things because otherwise they're going to keep burning the villages down.
mm.
Ain't no warmth in them. That's so what else are they going to do?
You think that's because I think we talk about a lot of Ferguson, or what some people would call the Ferguson effect. I
What is
think,
that?
well, it depends on if you ask Charles Blow or not, but I think that a lot of us who lived through Ferguson and have to live here after Ferguson, I do think that it is a rebellious nature that we have put in the babies. I think that we see that our babies here, not letting nobody play in their face, their parents or the police. Um, I respect it. I'm not gonna hold you. I mean, I may not like it when they blow through the stop sign. Please don't hit my baby in the car. Uh, but I also don't understand how we live in a city with so much technology and the light don't change. I think that sometimes our kids or the young people kind of tell us the way early, like they the tea leaves. And I think what we kind of put in them is kind of like it's okay. Do you feel like when you showed up, all right, I'm gonna say this because I think that this is a good kind of understanding of how me and you met. Do you remember the day that we actually met to a you remember?
Kinda.
Kinda. Where was we at? Let me hear this one. First time we had a conversation.
Mm, mm, mm.
So,
Bring it back.
okay, so look, and I don't think I've ever talked back to you on this one. It was early on in Ferguson. Uh, we had to go, well, I didn't have to go. I felt like I had to go. The elders called me to a press conference at uh Reverend Booker Church on the west side. If anybody know Reverend Booker,
Mhm.
he stay in motion. I ain't saying nothing bad about Reverend Booker because he the only pastor I ever seen shut his church down to go into buildings to save little girls on the west side.
He was the realest one sitting at that
He
table.
really was.
And there was a lot of pastors sitting at that table.
Don't get no credit.
Mm-mm.
Didn't got a lot of respect. You know, he was coming out singing ain't gonna let nobody turn you around. And now we was FTP. It was a different soundtrack, Reverend Booker. But you know, we respect, you know, we love you.
Yeah.
And he had a press conference because elders like Zaki Barudi, Minister Akbar, Anthony Shaid, I think Mike Brown father was there. They was calling for some kind of protest, and I didn't really know. You know, I was just one of the young leaders at the time, and at least that's what they said on TV at the time. You know, because at that time, everybody, if you just kept coming, you could be a leader if you weren't scared. And I remember they was having this press conference, and I didn't really get it, and they wanted me to speak, and I was like, no, no. And that was really first time I told my elders no. So I came off of the podium, um, and you pulled me to the side to the back room and asked me what I was feeling. Uh, I don't think nobody asked me what I was feeling probably since I was a kid, unless they wanted something. I was trying to, you know, set me up or something. And you was the first person to tell me to my face that I was a leader. that I didn't have to go no type of way because somebody called me into a room for real. It really, to me, it solidified that I was being seen as a leader by my own people, no matter the age range. So, and if you heard in the podcast, Mama Julie got away with the words. Her voice sound like your mama in your head or your big mama in your head. Your voice of reason and your voice of anger sometimes, because she got that too. But I remember that day as being a changing point for me, really growing up in the movement. So I wanted to kind of say that and kind of relive that with you.
I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I remember that.
Mm.
And I'm proud of you.
Mm.
Because when you stepped up to the next mic, you stepped up to the next mic. And when you had the bullhorn, you handled the bullhorn.
Mm.
I'm really proud of you for who you are as a person, as a man, and as an organizer, as a leader. I'm proud of you. Ferguson, listen, people probably gonna get pissed, but I don't really care because this is real. Had you been allowed to lead and have the access to what you needed, we'd be sitting here. The conversation would be this, but it would be a bit different because it wouldn't be in the sense of if you had been allowed to do. You did, but there was we're so confused as a people. I knew the word I wanted, but I had to remind myself that I couldn't use that language in this platform.
Right. I think on news one, we only get one
Oh
good cuss
goodness.
word in, maybe
I
two.
don't even think I want one, you know? I really don't, because my elders, your elders will see this, hear this, however it's displayed. And I kneel to them. So I don't really want to use one. It's in there though. They know it. So, but it could have gone a lot differently. There were a number of people who were leaders without direction. And a leader without direction confuses everybody. So you can't follow everybody. Everybody following, some of them, everybody's can lead. But some leaders who didn't understand what leadership is couldn't see that. So we lost a lot during Ferguson. Gained some things, but we lost some things. Politics became the game to play. If you want to win, become a politician. If you know.
And we sitting here at the crux of Cori Bush versus Wesley Bell. So,
which means that the very educated Mr. Bell hasn't learned anything, that you don't allow yourself to be manipulated and misused. You don't allow people who you know what they do and how they do. You don't allow them to pit you against your sister, our Wesley Bell, the prosecutor in St. Louis County, him. I'm voting for Cori Bush. I'm voting for Cori Bush. And I hope that any of us who was outside and wasn't outside, was just sitting at home watching from your TV or whatever, get your right-minded understanding about what this is that we are up against. Get it in your head who the people are aligned with, the people you voting for, who these people are aligned with. That leads back to the White House, that then leads to the Supreme Court. Think about these things. Think about who you put there and who that person puts on the Supreme Court. Organizations are challenging the 13th Amendment. It should be. We all should be doing the same.
Mm.
The slavery left the streets, so they say, and went inside the prisons. It shouldn't be there either. Because regardless to what a person has done, and I don't discount nobody's pain, because my family done been through, oh my God, so much of it. Like all of us black folks, we endure so freaking much. But think about who we align ourselves with when we think about who's next up to lead the people. The woman can say she's a woman of color. Jay-Z song say still. That's what they see. So she can see herself from whatever view she chooses to. That's fine. But the reality is, Jay-Z said it best. I like that song too.
I do
Play it all
too.
the time. Our people, we should all think about that.
Do you find it, because you brought up Kamala without saying Kamala? um, do you find it interesting that Wesley Bell, former prosecutor running for Congress, Vice President Kamala Harris, former prosecutor and attorney general, Eric Adams, mayor of New York City, former police officer. A lot of what we're seeing in politics is black people who have aligned themselves with the same criminal justice system that black people been fighting way before 10 years of Ferguson, way before they called it a criminal justice system, since it was, slave patrols or just people snatching our ancestors off the shores of Africa. If you don't think you're from Africa, that's you probably got a personal issue. But I know where mine came from. Do you think this is a strategy? Do you think this is a plan? Do you think these people feel like they're anointed, or like how are we getting this prosecutor to politician pipeline, when most of these people were not activists either? I've never seen them really be against the system. I've only seen them work for it.
I think perhaps like a lot of people, when they go into a thing, they think that they're going into it, it might be something personal that they want to rectify.
Hmm.
It may be that they see the what's going on and think that by being inside of that system, they can really change that system. But then once they get in it and realize that this is the way the game's played, then I don't know, perhaps they feel like they gotta play the game.
Hmm.
Um,
Do you think that in the movement, activists also play the game?
yeah.
Who you think play the game more, activists or politicians?
I think politicians by far,
Okay,
by far.
okay,
But activists, yeah, I
okay.
see how that goes since like being a reader and wondering about stuff and how these particular people got to be these particular people and
Mm.
so on. So yeah.
It's a strange thing how uh, people you have been in the streets with parlay some of this notoriety, and it only gets a personal gain. I think about a lot of our politicians, especially here in St. Louis, the area, period. We got a full gambit. We started with none but white politicians. If you think about it, 10 years ago, the mayor was white,
Mhm.
prosecutors white, most of the city council, they still white, but we got a lot more black people in a lot more positions of what they would say power. Um, Schools ain't fixed. Kids here reading under 15% on grade level. Um, we got a whole bunch of crime, or what they call crime. It's really poor people trying to survive. And people without families broken up by the war on drugs. So, you see babies out here raising themselves, probably a whole bunch of kid boys, parents probably locked up, been locked up. Um, why don't you think that or why hasn't the movement or politicians really got to the crux of this? When we have famous people, we have people that can go to the White House, literally be voted in, or be invited to the White House every year and eat arugula, and drink some a good spread of charcuterie boards. Why can't
Mm,
the problems be solved?
because poverty pays.
Mm,
So, yeah, we got a lot of black people in positions now of so-called power. But when it's spread out, when you friends with these over here and friends with them over there, and you know that these people are not trying to see the real changes that we need,
mm,
and you don't have sense enough to align with the community that puts you in that office, then you like pimping the people too.
mm,
That's how I feel about it. Because it is a lot that can be done. Crime doesn't have to be this high. Everybody knows that if you're hungry and you're really hungry, you're going to get it out the dirt. You're going to get it how you can get it. And then they say, look at these kids, look at these parents, look at this. Well, when the system is set up to fail you, and you know that as a black person going inside of that system, or maybe you don't feel like that because maybe you didn't grow up like that,
mm,
but you see it and you got family members who did. So unless you looking down on people, then you see it, you so help the community.
mm,
Call on the people who help and can help the community if you really want the changes to happen.
mm. I think sometimes I be losing hope
Never lose hope.
and voting. I'ma say it like that. I think
Well,
I be
yeah.
losing hope and voting for some of these people. Even some of the Ferguson protesters that be on the ballot, it really be sad when I see they voting record or how easily they get pimped through a campaign donation and how they
Mhm.
flip their vote. It really make me not vote most of the time. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm pretty sure people might not like that, but I haven't voted in quite some time, and until I see somebody, um, yeah, I'm probably make it. Unless one of these presidential candidates come here to Ferguson, I'm not voting for you. On my mama, I'm not. I'm tired of I'm tired of it. I gave it up for Obama, and I ain't really see nothing. I end up going back and forth with him and Attorney General Holder back in Ferguson around them not doing nothing. They had tears for Sandy Hook, but no tears for
Mm.
Trayvon. So I think that's a thing for me.
This is, I don't know if I can mention this station on this
Yes,
program, but
we good.
I can.
Yeah, we can do whatever.
It was on PBS.
Okay.
A sister protester, um, Wanda, sent it to me. It's a
Mm-hmm.
video. And I was listening to the video, listening to the people in the conversation, and the white people struck me. Like I know how they think about us and so on and so forth. So well, whatever. But to see what their understanding was, this lady said something to the effect, and her name is Robin. I got the thing in my phone so I can give you that or whatever. But she was really unconcerned sitting there.
Mm,
She said about Anthony Lamar Smith, why would people, why would we, black people, put our energy into him as if he was useless? She said it in a way as if
mm,
he was useless. So that's how easily y'all can dismiss us. Well, what about the husbands of the women who think like her, who are bringing the heroin and the crack and the other drugs into our communities? Somebody got to be doing it, and they got to be connected. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like this. So I think the people who are on the inside, when they get there, they ought to start figuring out how to disconnect the connection.
Mm, mm. Think that's how you lose your job right there.
Lose your job then. I lost plenty jobs. I lost jobs because I wasn't going to allow my black, very intelligent sons to be disrespected and dogged out by white teachers and principals and all of you, the system of
Mm,
them in the school systems that my children attended. So I'd have to get off work because they tell me he up here clowning, he ain't listening. He listening. He just done tuned you out. He's not responding to you.
mm,
He ain't wilding, beating, or doing nothing. He just sitting there and he doing what I said. Don't talk to them people till your lawyer get there.
mm.
I'm here now. He can talk, but he
S-
gonna talk to me first.
So, and that brings me to more so like the work that you do around, schools. I didn't travel the country with you. Went down to Mississippi. Um, can't wait to go back down south. Go down to Mississippi. We protest around corporal punishment. Learned last year that they still beating kids in Mississippi.
Yes,
Um, in 2023, it's 2024. They still doing it. They still
yes.
pushing policy to stop it. Blew my mind. I would have never knew that. And they doing this in black districts. These are white teachers in black districts. And for some reason, well, I know same reason why we ain't quickly burn down every plantation. You know that lick back in that photo right there with all
Mm.
those police is a thing. How do you think the schools have changed since Ferguson? How you think the students have changed, teachers have changed? How you think the curriculum? Because there's a lot of talk of CRT, critical race theory, and Black history being taken out of schools, especially in the state of Missouri. They talking about Project 2025 and all of those things. How do you think the schools have changed here in Ferguson and St. Louis Metro as a whole?
I don't think they're more beneficial to our children.
Mm,
And I know that they didn't address the traumas that our children suffered during Ferguson, during Stockley.
mm,
Every It was a domino effect. So these children were going back to school with all of these different emotions about their friends, their loved ones, their siblings being murdered and feeling like ain't nobody doing nothing, but y'all expect me to go to school and think and do and be normal. What is that?
mm,
I don't the schools are failing. The
mm,
people who are over the schools are failing. So if the school is failing, then what's wrong with the people at the top?
mm,
Move them out the way. Our children really don't even learn like these children.
mm,
We're taught to understand this stuff.
mm,
So, and some of our people who are in position now know this. I know that they know it because I've conversed with one in particular about this. So, what are we going to do to change it? No, they not. Nothing's better. Missouri still whoops kids,
mm.
children. Yeah. So,
You saying right now corporal punishment is allowed in the state of Missouri?
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, and not only corporal punishment in the way of paddling, as well as what they call these quiet rooms, or where they put the child in. Some schools have the padded room,
Solitary confinement.
basically solitary confinement. They put them there because they say that they can't handle this child.
Mm,
They can't do anything with this child. Give parents their rights back.
mm,
Allow them to discipline their children. The coalition that I work with doesn't believe in paddling children. I don't necessarily believe in it either, but I know that you can get a spanking without getting beat down.
Mm,
I do know that. So people have their own way of doing things. It's cool. We all do. But there's a lot missing in our homes that carries over to the school. And these people know that. And yet they don't want to do anything about that.
mm,
So, as parents, grandparents, activists, protesters, whatever we call ourselves, we have an obligation to do something about that.
mm,
Since we can't have a Umar Johnson school and the Muhammad schools all
mm,
throughout our communities, which is really what we need,
mm,
then we would see the difference. So if our mayor wanted to invest in something, then invest in that.
mm,
Go down to on I don't know the address at the Muhammad school, but go down there and talk to them and invest in them
mm.
and open more facilities, more schools like that. Do something real and tangible. The money there, at least that's what the people say who complaining about this last cycle of funding that she did. Make some real change. It ain't hard. These schools are trash.
So you said it. I mean, you said a lot there. I mean, you calling on the mayors and city council and school boards to.
I pushed for the vote for that sister. The Black Women's March came out of a need
Mm,
for Miss Gardner and our current mayor,
to Shara
Miss
Jones.
Jones. That came out of a need.
I remember I was there.
Yes, and we had a discussion about
We
that.
did. I support black women. I support
And
black women.
yes, he does. He
Um,
really does.
even when I think politically, it's short
It's
sighted or it's a body politic that's not really for the whole community. But I support it wholeheartedly.
yes.
Made y'all make sure y'all was safe. Had
Yes, you
brothers
did.
out there. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Allowed everybody. Kim came out.
Yes, she
To
did.
Sharwa. She came out.
Yes.
Seen her out. I don't
Yes.
think I seen her out ever in my life
I
like
saw
that.
the sister cry. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I thought, yeah, this is the right way to go. And then I had to humble myself and tell you, son, I'm sorry. It was a bad move.
Mm.
I ain't gonna say nothing else about it, but it was.
Do you think a lot of people post Ferguson, or do you think a lot of people knew who Tashara or Kim Gardner or any of these Wesley Bell, any of these black politicians that are very prevalent or say that they were very prevalent in Ferguson were back then, or do they
No,
think, or they is this the Ferguson effect?
no.
Are they benefiting from Ferguson?
Let me tell you something. I was outside with um Margaret,
Okay,
Mama Margaret.
okay. Love Mama Margaret, a
Yes,
real one.
yes,
She gonna pull up with a books and breakfast, all the
yes,
supplies in the back, and she gonna do her thing.
yes,
Shout out to Mama Margaret. Love you.
yes. We were walking for Corey Bush. We were knocking doors for her. And this one man came outside and asked us who she was. And we were telling him. And he made this really disparaging remark about our sister. And like I tried to breathe through it the first time, but then he did it again and I had to get him together because you're not going to disrespect her like that just because she's not here. I'm here and I'm a
Mm,
sister. Because that's what we're supposed to do for one another. It shouldn't be a you owe me something from this. I don't even know if she ever knew about that. But Margaret could bear witness. She was there. He was wrong and out of order. You're just not going to talk about her like that. Whether you vote for her or not, you not going to talk about her like that.
mm,
That's what we owe each other as sisters, as mothers, as women, as grandmothers, as aunts, as friends, associates, and just passers by.
Mm.
We owe that respect and care for one another to one another.
Mm.
It's the little things that we don't do for one another that keep us in positions of being underdogs. We always on the bottom of everybody. And when those ones that we help up get up, don't look down and despair at us. Come back to the community where you came from. Stop playing their game.
Mm.
Turn the table over. It's enough black folks in office now to turn it over. It's enough of us black women now to turn it over, since they say we are the ones that's gonna make it happen. But what's in return? That's when I do ask that question. What's in return for our communities, for our people, so that we don't have another Ferguson, another Stockley, another George Floyd? We don't have any more after the ones that they've already done. That's the thing. What is Miss Harris going to do about that?
Mm.
I meant that when I said y'all gonna stop killing us. Thanks, Bruce Franks, for making it a hashtag, but Mama Julia said it. Y'all gonna stop killing us. I still mean that. I don't know how many of these people have forgotten what we was really outside for. Because white folks start coming around with bags and checks, and now they got to get in line. They got to do it the way that these folks say to have it done, when they know doggone well that ain't what we need. That ain't it. How do you heal when the pain is still there? They want to do healing circles. Tonight they gonna bring the tanks out, but it's afternoon and y'all want to do a healing circle so we can come back in and gotta start over with this healing process. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
I think I often wonder, like you said earlier, what would Ferguson be in if we had some kind of understanding of what we was getting ourselves into? If we had, I think if a lot of us, the quote, Obi, somebody who's been teaching me tremendously, a disciple of Stokely, so I feel like I'm a disciple of Kwame Ture just through them. Obi always say that a lot of us take ourselves too seriously, don't take ourselves serious enough, and don't have the humility to know how to not make the same mistakes 3 and 4 times. I think that I think you said it earlier with a lot of the generational gaps of some of our elders who, I'm not a hand me the baton person. I'm definitely gonna snatch it. I'm trying to win the race for us. You hold on to it. And if anybody ever did a relay race, you'll be fooled to wait till they do that. Love y'all though. And some of y'all I don't love. I'm just keep it a bean. I never loved y'all because y'all never loved me. I think as I think about all those things, not to even be pessimistic, I think about what didn't happen. Like there are clear things that could have happened that didn't happen 10 years later that you say like, man, if we would have just did this thing right here in this very moment, we would be leaps and bounds closer to freedom, and if not free. Is there a moment for you and sometime in the protest or even sometime in the last 10 years Where if we would have got that thing right, we'd be sitting here having a different conversation.
Mm. After Mike Brown, during Stockley,
Mm.
yeah.
We're gonna keep referencing this. So I just wanna look, this the political education part of the podcast. Please Google Anthony Lamar Smith. Please Google Jason Stockley. Google the Stockley protests in St. Louis. That's 20 what? 17?
17.
Times flies. It was something amazing. We ain't had no media coverage, but we still shook the world. Go ahead.
So during that time, during Stockley, when the then mayor was saying, we're losing a lot of money, we're losing revenue, these protests got to stop. I think the wrong people went to the table to talk to that woman. I really do. Excuse me. I hate that I was running late for a meeting with her that I created, asked for, with the Church of God in Christ doing what they did with the press conference on the steps. We had the wrong people in that room because they fixed it where things would slow down so that they could begin to make more of their monies again. Revenue could pick up. But we were outside for justice. No matter what society may have made the young man out to be, he was a mother and father's son.
Mm.
He was a grandson. He was a father. He was a brother. He belonged to somebody's. People loved him. And from what we all understood, he wasn't doing nothing wrong. But he was gunned down by a wicked cop. And we had an opportunity to change some things in this system. And those people who call themselves leaders, some of them who say they've been out here for 30, 40 years and so on and so forth, we still here though. So I don't like it when they say that.
Me neither.
So I ignore them when they say that. But I think a lot of those instances when they were moving from a personal point of view, they failed us. They failed us because it didn't have to be. That was my moment, thinking back on those times
What
and
what could that Stockley protest done for the region?
what could it have
Yeah,
done?
what could it actually done? That's
It really could have changed the dynamics of things if the judge would not have been bought and he just didn't care anyway because he knew he was retiring. That
mm.
was his last case. So it was
With
real
no jurors, right?
strategic of no, they got a bench trial. It was
Bench.
real
Okay.
strategic of his attorneys to say, hey, we're gonna do this on a bench trial
With a
because
retiring
this judge
judge.
finna go out.
Mm.
And all the time they delayed the verdict. It was giving him and his family time to pack up so that they could get up out of here. And once they were gone and he was gone, then the verdict, came down and he went free. But he already knew he was free. He was already gone.
Mm.
It could have changed a lot. Had the system been right and done right, it could have changed a lot of things. It could have changed how police interact with Black people, Black men and boys in particular, with all of us. Because I didn't seen them grab some women and drop them on their head because she was talking too much.
Mm.
So if you're abusing women like that, sir, police officer, let's go to have a conversation with your wife. What are your family going through, sir? That's what I think would be my question to them. I would be most interested in, and psychological exams of these people. So yeah, I had a few moments, story, in thinking back on these last 10 years.
I think Stockley for me, I mean, it showed me everybody who they really was. Um,
Definitely that.
I was so thankful. I'm so thankful that you left town. I'm so thankful you got caught red handed. I'm thankful how you played it at the gas mart. I feel like a lot of protests was exposed in Stockley, and then I just got to watch them and step back. I
Mhm,
appreciate it for that. I think I- it made me think about body cameras differently. It made it feel like body cameras was just police officers watching game tape of killing us like it was an NFL game tape, like they was watching it
mm,
back because it really didn't bring us justice. You just watching people dying.
mhm,
Now maybe if you put some, you know, some laws in there, that if they cut their body camera off, they go to prison, stuff like that. But other than, you know, I don't really I think it's twofold. To me, it's like some of these changes 10 years later, especially coming out to Stockley, some of these things that we asked for in Ferguson, or some of these things that people say, oh, it's Ferguson, the 21st century policing task force and these commissions and all these recommendations. And I think a lot of these recommendations is fool's gold. If I'm looking back on it, it was the same people who was going to investigate the body cameras in Turner Ferris, they all in the police too. I've never seen them indict anybody. I've never seen any stings like they do on my
mm,
cousin and them. When you know, when we moving so much weight in our hood, they got investigations on them and they set them up. I don't see those things play out. Cause I think it'll be hundreds of officers that would no longer be there. I feel like Kim Gardner is one of the biggest changes that I've seen. And I'm forever thankful.
yes.
I'm thankful for you, Kim.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
even though everybody who said they was real didn't stand behind you.
Yep.
I stood there. We made sure you know, we was outside the house, outside your mama house, outside your mama
Mhm.
bed, all that. We would tell you sometime, and do all that, to make sure you were safe. You know, I think a lot of things happen, but I think the number one thing for me is we got a prosecutor who banned some of these officers from even testifying, and a lot of things wasn't left up to a judge.
Mhm.
I think there's power in a prosecutor who with it, who with the people, who with they people, who pro black, especially in a black city like this. I think that's one of the biggest changes. I think it gave some of these politicians like him a backbone to really do something. John Cons Muhammad,
Yes.
he it was a unanimous vote to get Anthony Lamar Smith Day.
Yes, it was.
Uh, uh,
Shout out to John.
Shout out to John, for being a real one, for being a Ferguson protester who
Yes.
got on the city council, the board of aldermen is what we call it here, and actually used that pen in that paper. Um, and then they took him out. I think that it's a lot of things that I would change. But I see you making changes. You got your book right
Mm,
here. Um,
yeah.
my mama wrote a book, y'all. um, Good day for me. It was a real good day
Um,
for me seeing my mama have a book. So I just want you to if it's anything in this stretching love, I don't know how they gonna do it. So I'ma just say, look, everybody that see this, buy my mama book, uh, buy 10 of them. They, you know, they go on every table. But I want if it's anything that you would like to share from your book, um, or talk about your book in any way, stretching love, uh, please. please share it with you, share it with me, share it with the world.
Thank you. It's my first published novel. It's creative fiction. It's not available on Amazon. That's a whole other kind of topic. But
Pro Black over here.
yes, you can go to www.ayaba, AYABA, Sabongale, SIBONGILE.com. It's my website. It's secure, it's safe, and it's very professional. So you can go there and buy a copy if you want to buy a copy. I appreciate it if you do, because part of the proceeds from the book goes to this place that this book is about, Wherever We Are, Inc. It is my nonprofit for Black boys in particular, ages 13 to 17. We'll expand to 18 to 25, and then we'll expand to 25 and so on thereafter. But our resources are available to everybody in community. So, Stretching Love is about community, Black people, Black love, how we nurture one another, how we heal, and how we go through these trying times with people who oppose us for no real justified reason,
Mm.
but we overcome them. Um, Lively characters that come out of my creative mind space and my life experiences and just living, seeing things as they are. Um, I don't really know what else to say about it.
Would you want
It's
to read a little excerpt? Give a little
really,
preview?
that's some, I don't know where to go to.
This a book too. This a real book. I think that
Mm-mm.
you going
Uh,
through it. I think I was so shocked that in the midst of Ferguson, Stockley, Gassmart, Coalition for Education. We had the School to Prison Pipeline Coalition here. We worked on criminal justice reform, going to the jails. Remember they went to the Justice Center, had them trying to help people like Josh and Low Key and, a lot of people that in the midst of all of that for so much time, you was writing a book. It's very hard for me. I'm trying to finish mine now. Good luck.
You got it.
Cause I keep adding stuff and taking stuff away and just thinking about it. How do you, and I think this is this is the same thing I asked Tamika Mallory when we was protesting it for Breonna Taylor. Can I ask it the same way I asked Tamika?
Sure.
How the hell you writing a book and you out here trying to save the world at the same time?
Because this is how I heal.
Hmm.
To write whatever the experiences are, whatever is in my spirit, just write it. And it helps a lot.
Hmm.
It is soothing. And the people, what you're talking about in the book, has like you want to get the rest of it out. You want to continue to tell the story. So it was soothing, it was healing, and it helped to take my mind kind of off of what that is that we just went through and to prepare for it for tomorrow. That's helped a lot. It helps a lot.
That's a good answer.
I don't know where to read
You
from.
don't want to read. You don't know where to read from. Right there.
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
I guess so. Look, y'all. You got it, or you want me to? Let me pick. Let me see. Look at you.
Here we gonna go right here.
Okay.
You want to?
No, I want to hear it. I want. Cause I feel like the next step is having an audio book because I could just listen to you read.
It's
And,
coming soon.
okay.
It's coming soon. So this is chapter 13 of Stretching Love, and it's something how you can you how manifestation actually happens. Okay. So a lot of what I wrote in this book is manifesting.
Mm,
So I'm a dreamer, but I live in reality. But the dreaming is the escape, and the books are the vehicle to help get done what I want to see for our people. This is chapter 13, and it's called Akeem and Beverly. Akeem and Beverly Lansden are a power couple. They're elders, they're black forward, they love their people, they don't stop when it's go time, they are on it.
mm,
So it's the chapter is Akeem and Beverly. Donating the house and land to Aminata's organization is definitely a great idea, Beverly said. The couple was relaxing on the deck of their spectacular home on the water. Their super yacht was over 200 feet and 3 stories high, with a full deck crew. The Lansings loved their home away from home. On this gloriously sunny day, the couple was laid back in their lounging chairs, sipping champagne while eating from an appetizing charcuterie board. Their vessel, which Akeem named Yamaya, goddess of the ocean, was docked in Jamaica, one of their favorite places to watch the sunset. Beauty, that young lady has done a fantastic job with establishing those homes. Our people are in desperate need of more help than the two of us and our donors can provide. We have the resources, but we can't possibly make the kind of direct impact as she does. Not that we haven't made a difference, Akeem said. However, we know our people are suffering greatly in that town, and the house will definitely help change some of that. It will be a place of restoration and healing, like the other ones. What a wonderful contribution to uplift them, he said, thinking about his own upbringing.
mm.
Beverly's mind was already turning at the speed of light. She was checking off all the furniture, clothing, and other items she would donate. I know, darling. That's what I was thinking. You do know she no longer handles the daily operations of each home personally, right? Yes, I know. I'm sure she has a process of selecting the people to help her. Of course, we'll do anything we can to help her make it a success. From what we've both seen, her programs are effective in eradicating that it her f- programs are effective in eradicating that always present underlying element of fear in our people. Overcoming that is very necessary to our growth as a collective. The small town they grew up in was 90% black, but overwhelmingly dominated by whites. The factories hired mostly white men and Mexicans from the surrounding towns. The one large grocery store only had 3 black employees. 2 of them were janitors, the other one a female cook. The city jobs were all given to the whites who drove 30 miles one way. Yet there were plenty of skilled, out of work black people right there in town. Beverly knew Akeem was thinking about his own childhood. Many changes occurred over the years in the small town, none of which promoted growth and equality in the black communities. Still, she got angry every time they went back there. Seeing one set of white family members replacing another one in the city clerks and licensing offices was evidence of relentless nepotism.
Mm.
Her own mother worked 10 years in the comptroller's office until she got her master's degree and resigned. She started her own investment and real estate company. The black people who went off to college came back with the fruits of their labor in hand, their resumes, degrees, and certifications were rewarded with rejection. The only changes she saw in those offices were first names and ages. Oftentimes, I really wish we could say, "This is for black people only," Beverly said wistfully, "the same way they do it, with unspoken rules, languages, and nepotism. Although invisible, those things are felt, and the unspoken language is loud. You know?" She eyed him over the rim of her glasses. "I'm thinking of ways to say the same." Akeem was nodding his head in agreement. "That would be wonderful, but we'd get our asses sued off for reverse discrimination." He knew how she felt, but there were all races of poor people who needed help. Yet, the generational 400-year jump start was more prevalent in the lives of black people for whom it was created.
Mm, that is powerful, mama.
Thank you.
I think that's a good way to close us out. Let's stretch in love. Yaba Singale,
Yeah.
my mama, Mama Julia, author, poet, humanitarian, activist, makes some of the best shrimp you ever had in your life with that little pasta on it. And all around just mother to us in Ferguson. I want to say I love you. I appreciate you. We all love and appreciate you. And thank you for coming on Witness to History, Ferguson 10.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I love you. I love all of y'all.
Love you too.